This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, good morning. People looks like drop delay. Guys, good morning.
Very good morning, sir.
Very good morning, sir. Hey, good morning. Charan, is it? Okay. All right.
Sir.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah, yes, man. Okay, okay. So we have discussed like the basics, right? It started with the fundamentals. So what is the importance of learning Python? Who can learn Python, right? And then we started with the variables. Okay, different way of defining the variables and initializations, nothing but assignments, variable assignments. Then we started with data types. We have and different types of data types, basic data types, special data types, and the data structures, collections, and all. Then we have started with the operators, right? Again, in operators, we understood very well each and everything, right? So what are the different kind of operators we have? Then followed by like we are trying to understand the flow controls, right? The flow controls, basic flow controls, we have conditional statements, then iterative statements, and transfer statements. Okay, so these are the three categories at a high level when you look at the flow controls. And we understand well about the conditional statements, which is about like if. We have seen if condition, just if else condition, then if else later, if else, if else, if else later. But the syntactically here it is elif, not else if. Okay. Then we also looked into nesting of the conditions, meaning that writing if condition inside another if condition, right? Inside another if condition, we have understand that well. Then we started with the iterative statements. As part of iterative statements, we have discussed about the while loop, right? While loop, and yeah, so we have to understand about the for loop, then followed by how to you know, so how to nest, meaning that how to nesting if condition inside a for loop, or a for loop inside a while loop, or while loop inside a for loop, the combinations basically, right? So that is where like we will have to see about the break and continue statement. That's what transfer statements. So that's where we can conclude the flow controls. Okay, that's where we can conclude the flow controls. Okay, let's understand about that. So while loop we have already understand. Hopefully it's clear for everyone about the while loop. Let's understand the for loop today. So new Python file. So for loop you can say, for loop you can say. Okay, so when you look at the for loop, what is the basic difference of while loop and for loop, guys? It's a kind of something. So if I ask you, okay, if I ask you to count okay, to do 10 rounds, okay. Okay, I have asked you to do the maybe 10 rounds. Okay, when you go to the temple, so you are going to do maybe like 3 rounds or 11 rounds or maybe 1 or 8, depends, right? So there definitely you need to know the count, you need to know the count. You have to keep track of the number count, right? You have to keep track of it, because like how many rounds you have covered so far, and still how many rounds are there to cover. You have to maintain that tracking. You have to keep track of it, right? But there are other cases, something like that. Okay, so imagine that you have a bag, a bag of collection. So inside that bag you have maybe a number of pens, you have a number of pencils, you have a number of um, uh, pen drives. Okay, you have a charger, laptop charger, you have mobile charger, you have laptop. Like, so bag is like a collection of multiple things. Now I have asked you to move out everything from that bag, meaning that, so remove everything from that bag. What is my requirement here? So remove everything from the bag. So when I say remove everything from the bag, do you really need to count the things inside that? In this scenario, I am not asking for, I am not looking for the number of things that I have in my bag. What I am looking for is that for everything, inside the bag, okay, you take it and remove it. That's it. You have to do it. So right? So while removing it, all the items, when as soon as it is like everything is removed, you will be knowing it. Okay, there are no more items to remove. There are no more things to remove. So in that case, you don't have to worry about the counter. You don't have to worry about the counter. So how many things are there in your bag? Okay, how many things are there in your bag? Okay, say imagine I have in my bag I have a pencil, in my bag I have a pen, in my bag I have a no in my bag I have a laptop, in my bag I have, okay, mobile. Like that, you have a number of things. Okay, you have a number of things. Getting it, guys? Now I don't really want to worry about how many are there. I don't care about that, how many are there. I don't care about that. Instead of that, so I'm going to get everything. For everything you do this, where in the bag, okay, in the bag, what I'm going to do is just removing this, moving out, but here just I'm printing it as a technical thing. So I'm just printing the thing here, everything. Okay, that's it. So what it does, what it is going to do, guys, what it is going to do, it first it gets this pencil into this. Okay, that I'm printing. Again it goes back to the bag and it will get the second thing into this. It will print. Then it goes back to the bag and gets the next one into this. It will get the next thing into this. It will get the next thing into this. It doesn't have any other elements, so then it will come out of it. It will come out of it. Yes, simply iterating over each and every item of your bag. That's all. Okay, so it's a simple thing. For loop is very easiest iteration, guys. Okay, you just need to worry about the syntax. Just for here it can be anything, meaning that if you want you can give x, if you want you can give I, j, k, any arbitrary name, and then in is the syntax. And here again you can keep any iterable object. You can have any iterable object. Iterable object, when I say group of things, that object is of type like holding, capable of holding group of elements. So that can be a fur, that can be so I'm sorry, so that can be a list, that can be a tuple, that can be a set, okay, or maybe your range function also, because range function is also going to have multiple elements, group of elements. When I have range of 100, so it's going to take 0 to 99, right? So group of things. So anything that is going to hold the group of elements is an iterable object. So that iterable object you can give in this place, the bag place. Okay, right here I have taken an example of list. So here my bag type is what? My bag type is list, correct? So this is of type list. So here you want to print is list, right? So list, and you just run this. So it is going to print each and every item of my list. Okay, each and every item of my list. So the syntax is what is for here any arbitrary name. So for every item, so let me give item. Then you have to use the same reference. Whatever name you are using inside the for loop, the same name you have to use, and the name is going to hold each element or each object of your collection. Okay, each object of your bag or list, whatever it is. Okay, so here this can be anything. So if you want to give x, yes, you can give x. Okay, you can give x. Okay, so hope you understand the syntax. The syntax is very straightforward case. So here you can see the for loop syntax. For loop syntax is what? Just for. So here any arbitrary name. So any name, basically this is going to refer the item that actually refers element of the collection. So in is the syntax. Here again collection. So here body. Okay, body. So you can keep whatever code you want. You understand, guys? Is there any confusion? Very straightforward and very simple. Okay, so here you can see that. Okay, we understand about the simple for loop, guys. Then let's understand the transfer statements that we have. We have break and continue. We have two statements. Of course, pass is also there. That's a simple thing. Okay, so let's understand that. Okay, let's understand that too. What are these transfer statements we have, guys? Transfer statements, if you look at, we have break, continue, and pass. Okay. Okay, so now let's take an example. Okay, I am searching for a name. So let me take the same example here, for loop example. Okay, same bag I'm taking as just. It's a simple concept. I'll make it simple for you. So I have a bag of data. Okay, now so I'm asking that I'm going to perform a search operation. So I will ask the user to enter the search word. Okay, so input. Okay, search. Enter the search word. Enter the search word. I'm asking user to enter any search word. Okay, so here or else instead of this, say for example, I'm taking your names. Okay, so the courses that Career IT is going to provide. Okay, courses. So we provide Python, we provide Java, we provide, okay, so .NET, provide Azure DevOps. Okay, so I'm not writing all of them, but few of them. Okay, AWS. Okay, so UI, right? So I have Angular base, React JS. Okay, so there will be more. So these are the courses that Career ID is offering, right? Now, so someone is asked, okay, sir, is Career ID is providing the course, DevOps course? Then, so I'm going to search for that. So these are the collection of things that courses provided by Career ID. Now I'll check in that. I will check against to this courses list. If it is there, then I will say yes, we teach that. If it is not there, then we'll say no, we are not going to deal with that. Okay, so how to do that? I can, so I can simply, I can say for every course, in the courses, that is what my package courses list. So here I can check it, right? So course is equal to the search word, whatever you are looking for. Then I'll say course is found, and okay, and we teach that, right? So else, okay, so else meaning what? It's not found, so we don't deal that. We don't deal with the course. Okay, we don't deal with the course. So something like that I'm writing. Okay, course search one. Okay, so this is how I'm doing it. So do you see any complexity here, guys, in this piece of code? So I have a list of courses. Here, and in the list of courses, so whatever the courses we are dealing, I have written everything. And then so I'm asking the student, okay, what you are looking for, what course you are looking for. So there is a search box. Imagine in the website there is a search box, and you entered, okay, so you entered Python. So Python is available or not? It's available. So that logic, so I'm writing here. If it is there, then I'll say yes, we are dealing with that. If not, it will say no, we don't deal that. So if you look at, so I'm entering Python here. So it's see that. So now see that. So it is saying that Python, when I enter Python, it's saying that course is found and we teach that. Course is found and we teach that. And also it is also doing what? So it is saying that we don't deal with the Python. 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 It's absolutely wrong or not? It's absolutely wrong or not? Here you are saying that so course is found, and it is also saying that we don't deal with the Python. We don't deal with the Python. Why? So this is wrong, right? Why? Because it is going through each and everything. So first it will take, okay, try to understand, guys. First it will take Python, right? So Python will be coming into this course. Now course is equal to Python and search word equal to also Python, whatever I have entered. So Python, then it's saying that course is formed and we teach that course. Okay, till then it is fine as per our requirement and as per our understanding. Yes, this is fine. Then what will happen? So whatever the search word you have given, there is a found, right? There is a match found, right? There is a match found, and you have to come out of it, right? Then why do you want to still verify all the remaining courses? Because you already got it. Whatever you're looking for, yes, we are dealing with that. If it doesn't match, then only it has to go to the second level, right? Now in this case, what is happening? So it is picking the Java and it is comparing Java with Python. So it returns false, so coming to else block, and it is printing that we don't deal with course. But here I have given search word is what? Python. So it is saying that we don't deal with the course Python. Then it is taking .NET. So .NET is equal to Python? No. So it will come to else block, and again it says that we don't deal with the course Python. And again it takes Azure DevOps. It says that Azure DevOps equal to Python? No. It will come here and it says we don't deal with that course. You understand the problem, guys? So that is the issue. So in this case, as soon as you found the course, you don't look for any other remaining things. Why do you want to go further? Just that's where you break it, because you already found it. If you don't find, then you continue. Otherwise, just you break it. Okay. So now see the same example how it is going to perform. Enter the search word and just saying that Python. That's it. Course is found. We teach that. This is how it has to be, the logic should be. So that is where the break statement is going to help us. The break statement is going to help in that way. Yes, you understand? Guys, do you understand where the colon? Saurabh, where you are expecting colon? Just break is a keyword, that's it. Just no
in the
colon.
break, there is no colon, right? Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, not required, not required. Just a keyword, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right. So this what basically understanding break statement is simple. The syntax is simple, but what is the need? What is the impact of it? That you have to actually understand. That's where you can write the best code when you are into company. Okay, so you have to understand the actual core importance of each and every concept, right? So then we have something called continue, right? We have something called continue, guys. What about this continue statement? So continue statement is something like Shankar. I'll come back to you. So continue statement is it is going to continue to the next iteration, meaning that, so suppose you have a group of things. Okay, so suppose you have a group of things, right? Okay, maybe you have a bag. Okay, you have a bag of things. Okay, you have a bag of pens. Okay, you have a bag of pens and maybe mobiles. Okay, mobiles, something like this. Okay, mobiles or something like this. Or any other example? Okay, okay, let me take some other example. Okay, so simple example. I'm taking a simple example. So I have list of numbers. Yes, I have a group of numbers. Okay, list of numbers from 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Okay. Now I wanted to check the number is even number or odd number. Okay. If it is odd number, then I wanted to find the number is prime number or not. The number is prime number or not. Okay, the number is prime number or not. You are understanding? Or then this is a straightforward logic, guys. For every number in the list, okay, for every number in the list, I'm going to check if number mod 2 equal to 0. Okay, so 0, so this is going to be, okay, this is going to be even number, right? Or I wanted to say if it is only odd number, then you calculate, like then you check whether it is a prime number or not. Okay, in that case what I wanted to do is here, so if number mod 2 equal to 0, I'll say it's an even number. Otherwise I'm going to check, okay, I'm going to check whether the number is a prime number or not, or else just I'm just printing the number is this one. Just I'm trying to simplify it instead of making it complex. Okay, number is number, and here I'm calculating the square value of it. Okay, square value of the number. So here square value is what? Number into number. I'm doing this number into number. Okay, right. So if you run this code, what will happen? So guys, try to understand. If you run this code, what will happen? First it will take the number one, right? It will take the number one, and the number one is going to check it's a even number or not. No, so it doesn't get inside. Okay, now it will print the number is number and print the value is square value, number star number. So it is going to print 1 into 1 1. Then it goes to 2. Okay, 2. Now 2 more 2 0, so it is going to print even number, and again still it will print number is 2 and square value of number is 4, right? So like that it executes each and every number, right? It executes for each and every number. So here what I wanted to do is okay, I do not want to execute these 2 lines of code. I do not want to execute these 2 lines of code. Okay, I do not want to execute these 2 lines of code if it is a even number. If it is even number, okay, if it is a even number, I just wanted to ignore these 2 lines execution and I will go to the next iteration. So I'll go to the next number. If it is even number, then I just want to continue. I don't want to execute the below lines of code. The whole point of understanding here is, please guys mute yourself. The whole point of understanding here is, whenever your for loop, just follow me please. Whenever you have a for loop of 100 lines of code, inside your for loop you have 100 lines of code, guys. Okay, 100 lines of code. Now you do not want to execute all the 100 lines of code for each and every time. You do not want to execute all the 100 lines of code each and every time. So depends on the condition. Certain cases, for certain cases, then you would be executing for the first 10 lines of code, and depends on the condition. You are not going to execute the remaining 90 lines of code for that particular iteration, and you'll go to the next iteration. The break is going to break the whole loop. If you have 10 items in your list and you are searching for an item, and the search item found as the first element or second element, do not have to go further iterations. You can break that. Okay, number of iterations is going to reduce. But here, so part of the code, part of the for loop, I'm going to execute for certain condition, and remaining code I'm not going to execute. So my for loop is having 100 lines of code, and out of 100 lines of code, I am executing all 100 lines of code for the first iteration. But when I go to the second iteration, I do not want to execute all the 100 lines. I'll execute for the first 10 lines of code, and remaining lines of code I'm going to simply skip it. I will skip that and I'll move on to the next iteration. I'll move on to the next number 3. So that's where like you can use this continue. So as soon as you say continue, it will not execute the remaining lines of for loop code. It will go to the next iteration. It will take the 3, 4, 5. It will go to the next iteration basically. So maybe I'll show you by debugging it. Just try to follow it. Okay, try to follow it. Anyhow, this is the about other one. Okay, now see that it is coming to here, right? So number is what? 1. So guys, follow this. Number is what? 1. Okay, number is what? 1. So now I'm moving on. So number is printing and square value is printing. Now number value is what? 2. So it is even number, and observe the flow from here. It goes to the next number. Next number is what? 3. It will not execute this line or this line. It doesn't execute these 2 lines. It simply move on to the next iteration. That's what. Say that now the next number is what? 3. So now it is coming here. Okay, as it is not even number, it will come here and it is going to execute. So it will execute these 2 lines of code. Okay, so then it goes like that. Now in this time again, it will not execute this 2 line. It simply goes to the next iteration. Okay, so continue statement is to skip few lines of your for loop code, depends on the condition. That is the point. Okay, why do where are we going to use this real time? Like, maybe n number of requirements. There are n number of requirements. Say for example, you have a customers. Okay, you have a customers, or maybe you have a list of products. Okay, where segregating all the say for example all the products, say Flipkart or Amazon. There are so many items written, guys. Items written. Okay, when it is delivered, somehow it is damaged or somehow customer is not accepted, the items are written. Now they are going to segregate the items. So when they have items list, okay, when they have items list, they will be having damaged items and normal items. Okay, so if it is damaged item, they are going to have one process. If it is non damaged item, they will be having certain process. Okay, certain process. So while writing the code, while iterating through each and every item, okay, so they will um, so they do not have to execute all the logic for the for loop, right? So depends on the condition, they can skip few lines of code to process, because the condition is not going to meet. But simply I wanted to go for the next iteration. I wanted to go to the next iteration. Or maybe I have a mobile store, so where I have customers, existing customer and new customers. So I'm iterating through each and every customer. So if he's a new customer, then I wanted to give certain offers. So if he's not a new customer, so I don't have anything else to do. I'll simply go to the next customer. I will check the next customer. Or customer is active or inactive. A customer is suspended or not. It depends on certain conditions. We can skip the few lines of code from the execution only for that particular iteration. So here only for the particular customer. So the usage, the syntax is wise is simple, guys, but so you have to understand the concept. In real time we use this like anything. So it takes, what happened, it takes, continue example. Okay, so what I'm taking, so I have a customer's details here. Okay, customer details here. So you might be having multiple customers and their statuses, a combination of that. The customer is, so here you can take a group of things. So customer name, say for example, and here customer status, so active or inactive. Okay, something like this. You can take a dictionary. Okay, customer name, so and customer is active or inactive. Okay, so this is going to reduce the time, basically code execution time, because we are going to skip the logic for few customers. Right now for every customer in the customers list, okay, customers, what I'm going to do, if customer, I'm going to access 1 second. So this is a dictionary, right? So dictionary cannot be iterated directly. What we have to do is we have to get the keys. Okay, so this keys we can iterate through. Okay, so this is going to return Venkat, comma, Shankar, comma, Saurabh. So only keys. So that is going to return as a dictionary keys. So that you can iterate through. Now I can access my dictionary, customers dictionary of key. So what this returns, customers of key. When I say so key, for the first time key will be what, Venkat. So customers of Venkat, it's going to return this value. Okay, so that value is, so if he is active, I wanted to, or if he's inactive, okay, but is inactive, then simply I don't do anything, simply I will use continue and simply use continue. That's it. So if he is inactive state, then I am not going to do anything. If he is inactive state, I'm not going to do anything. But if he is active, then I'll do more logic. So here I have 100 lines of code to execute. Otherwise, meaning that, so otherwise or whatever it is, I have 100 lines of code here. So what will happen now? When the customer is inactive, then these remaining 100 lines of code is not going to execute anymore. It simply continue to the next customer. It will continue to the next customer. So this 100 lines of code execution is going to save. The time is going to save. The time is going to save. Okay, a simple logic is just it is just going to reduce the time effort basically. When you have 100 lines of code or 1000 lines of code in your loop, depends on the condition, I will skip executing all the remaining lines of code. Okay, I can execute the remaining lines of code and I can move on to the next iteration. Say for example, I wanted to only print for every number in the range of 100. So I'm going to just print I'm just going to print even numbers. Okay, and odd numbers. I'll simply say that. So continue. I will print the number. Okay, so what it will print? Only it is going to print only the odd numbers, because for the even numbers I'll simply saying that continue, and I am saying that don't print this line, don't execute this line. I'm simply saying that go to the next iteration, go to the next number. See that this is going to use just this is going to print only the odd numbers. This is going to print only the odd numbers. See that will print only the odd numbers, because the even numbers I'm skipping. So I'm skipping the print logic. So from the continue statement, the remaining lines are going to skip whenever the continue statement is executed, meaning that it will move to the cursor to the next iteration by skipping the remaining lines of code. Likewise, you can take a number of examples. Okay, the continue statement, where remember continue statement is used as part of, continue statement will be used as part of loops only, and your break statement is also used as part of the loops only. You are not allowed to use out of the loops, either for loop or a while loop. So other than that, if you try to use it, will be syntactical error. Okay, so we have some other statement. Yes, pass statement. Okay, it's a kind of to do. So when you don't know the logic right now, and later you wanted to come back and you wanted to define the logic, then we use this particular keyword is pass. Okay, so here I have a condition here. Okay, I have some condition, but I don't have any logic to right now, just I can say pass. Okay, so I have a loop for every number in the range of 100 or 10. I'm doing some logic here. Okay, so but I don't know what to do now for now, so I'm doing it. Okay, I'm just printing the number. I'm just printing anything, you can write anything. So number. After printing the number, so I'm going to check if the number is even number. I don't know what to do now. So I did not get the requirement so far. I did not get the requirement now. So I wanted to implement this later. I'll come back and I'll implement this. Okay, so that is where I can use pass. It's a kind of to do. So when you say pass, okay, now I am not writing the code for that. Later I will come back and I will execute that. I'll come back and I will define it. So I'll come back and I'll define it. So I'm defining a function. I'm defining a function, but I don't know what to define right now. I don't have a requirement, so I can use pass. Okay, the pass keyword is applicable for the functions, for the flow controls, for the classes. Even we can define a classes later, guys, in the OOPS concept. So while defining the class, if I don't know anything right now, later I want to come back and implement, then I can write the pass statement, right? So the pass statement is simple to pass it. Understand? Pass statement is just I'm not going to do anything now. I'm not going to write anything. I'm just giving pass, meaning that it's a kind of to do. Later I will come back and I'll implement whenever I know the logic here. Yes, I will come back. I'll remove the pass statement. I will implement it. Getting it, guys? So that's what on the iterative statements we have. Okay, iterative statements we have. So now you can also have a loop inside the loop, guys. You can have a loop inside the loop. Okay, so inner loop or something. So I can print, okay, matrix. So where I have rows and columns for every row in range of 2. Okay, for every column in range of 2. So I can print rows and column. Row number, I can print column number. Okay, so we'll see that this is how it's going to print. So just I'm keeping a separation here. This run, guys, I can write a for loop inside a for loop. So see that for first row, for row number 0, it is printed the column number 0, column number 1. Again for row number 1, it is printed column number 0 and column number 1. So basically it is come on. Okay, see this here. What will happen here? Range of 2 means what? It starts from 0 and it goes up to 1, meaning that so this range of list of 0 comma 1. To avoid the confusion, you can take 0 of 1 also like this. Okay, like this also you can, and here also like you will be taking 0 comma 1. So now what it does? So it is going to start with 0. Okay, 0 will be in this row variable. What is the row value now? 0. Okay, that is printing here. Now here coming to here, inside that I have a body. So this body has again one more for loop inside a for loop. So inside this for loop, it takes the number column, first number, it will execute this. So again it will take number 1 into this, it will execute. So first it has to finish the inner for loop. It has to finish the inner for loop for the item, row item 0. As soon as it is done, then it will go back and it will take 1. It will take 1. And now again for one case, it will come again. It is a loop, right? For the one iteration, for the first iteration also, it has to perform all the iterations of the inner loop. So meaning that for the first case also, it will take 0 through, and it will take like 0 is 1 and it will take first one. So 2 times it is going to execute for the 1 level. It is execute 2 times for 0th level. So total, so it is going to execute 4 times. So it iterates through each each row and each column. So if you say here row value, okay, if you see, it's going to print row number 0th row. It is iterated through times or not? Column is printed 2 times, meaning that because it's an inner loop. So for every iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop is going to execute. So inner loop number can be anything. Only two values or 20 values or 200 values. but the 200 iterations go through for each and every outer level row. For the row level 0, it is printed 2 times. For row level 1, it is printed 2 times. That's what you can perform the inner loops. So you can keep 10. Now what will happen? It will print the inner loop 10 times. Okay, why it is not printed, guys? For every column in 0 okay, so it's not range, right? It's list of data. Okay, so 8 9. Now see that, so it is going to print it. For the row level 0, it is printed all these number of iterations. For the row level 1, it is printed all the number of iterations. Because my row numbers are 2, so 2 times the body is going to execute. And as part of this body, I have a for loop, and this for loop has to execute how many times? This is going to execute 10 times, 0 to 9. 10 times for the 0th row, 10 times for the first row. So that's how it works. Okay, so you can see the patterns. Actually, I'll send few patterns. Okay, maybe you try to do this, there you will understand better. Okay, 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. So like this you can practice this kind of patterns, guys. I'll just give you an example of this for now. For every how many rows I have? Total 5 rows. One second, guys. Guys, so see an example of how many rows I have total. How many rows I have? 5 rows. How many rows I have? 5 rows, right? So I have 5 rows. How many columns I have? 5 columns. Okay, so 5 rows and 5 columns. Now while writing the logic, so we had to look for that for every row in how many numbers you have, guys? Total 1 2 3 4 5, right? So start with 1 comma 6, because the range function is starts from 1 and it goes up to n minus 1, meaning that 6 minus 1 5 for every row. So for every row, in the sense this is what it's a two dimensional. So this is what one row. So now I have to print all these numbers using my another loop. That's where I'm going to write the numbers here. How many times? Again, this also I have to see how many times I have to print the column number. So I'm going to print the column number here, guys. I'm going to print the column number. So column number for the first row, how many numbers I am printing? Only one number, right? Only one number I am printing, right? And all remaining numbers I am not printing, right? So, and if you look at the second row, how many numbers I am printing? 2 numbers. For the third row, how many numbers I am printing? 3 numbers. For the fourth row, how many numbers I am printing? 4 numbers. So how many times I have to print my numbers is depending on my row or not. So that is where, so here you have to put the logic. So start from 1, but you have to print how many numbers you have to print. What is your row number? Those many times you have to print. So as those many times I have to print, so I'm just keeping row plus 1. Okay, row plus 1. So here if you look at, I have to, as soon as I'm done with my row, I have to move my cursor into the new line or not. That's where I'm simply printing, just using just a print statement here, which moves my cursor into the new line. Okay, which moves the cursor into the new line. If you run this, you can see the output as, so you can see the output as 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. But I wanted to get these numbers in horizontal way, right? All these are in vertical, so I wanted to get these in horizontal way, like this, right? Like this. So that's where we have something called a parameter, end parameter with the space. Okay, so this is going to append the next column value, right? Instead of moving to the next line, it keep the cursor in the same line at the end of the same line. So that is where instead of printing into the new line, it will print into the same line. So that is where you can see 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, like whatever output we are looking for. So printing these kind of patterns, like we are using the loops, inner loops, loop inside the loop, loop inside the inner loop. Okay, so that's what you can practice more, guys. Maybe I'll try to send you a few examples to try to understand, try to practice, so that you can okay, you can comfortable with writing a loop inside another loop. Okay, this is the inner loops, this is the inner loops. Okay, so guys, so go through this. Okay, always you can reach out us if you have any questions, if you have any confusions. Okay, so I will respond to your emails. Print, I'm not printing anything, right? Just what it does, it keeps the cursor into the new line. So what I had to do, first it has to print this line, right? So that print statement is happening here as part of the inner for loop. Okay, by the end of the inner for loop is executed, the row will be finished. Printing all the numbers will be finished. Then I have to move my cursor from here to here, right? I have to move my cursor to the next line. That is what this print statement is doing. And again, it prints two numbers for the second time, for the second row. And while printing, right, first it will print 1, then it is going to print 2, number 2. But now number 2 I wanted to print along with the 1, not into the new line. So that is why I'm using this end is equal to this one. So this keeps this maintain this space, and it will print to the same line. So second time, for the second row, how many times the column is going to print at 2 times? 2 times it is going to print, because for the second iteration my row number will be 2. Here it will be range of 1 comma 2 plus 1 means 1 comma 3. 1 comma 3 means it is going to print one time, it is going to print a second time. So whatever the numbers I am printing in the same line. As soon as I am printing all this, then I have to move to the next line. Before going to the this outer loop, next outer loop, I wanted to keep the cursor into the new line. That's why I have added this print statement. Okay, how so this row is going to track row numbers, guys. The first row, this is first row, this is second row, this is third row, fourth row, fifth row. So the outer for loop is to track this. The how many number of rows you have, that tracking is going to happen this for loop. But the whole logic, the print logic is inside the loop. This is actually printing the numbers. As soon as the inner loop is executed and going to the next iteration of the outer loop, okay, so I am moving the cursor to the next line. For moving the cursor to the next line, I'm just keeping the print statement. That's all. Okay. Yes, so you can apply that. By default, print function is having that. So see that now it is keeping extra new line. Okay. So by default, print function is adding one new line, and you apply backslash, and it is going to add one more. I mean, it will move the cursor one more line to one more line. So that's the reason you see between a space in between the lines. Okay, so not required to keep, because by default print function keeps that cursor into the new line. Okay, so yeah, so like this you can practice a number of examples, guys. Okay, so as the sessions are planned for only 2 weeks, okay, so we have covered these concepts, guys. Okay, we will so we are going to start the batch, okay, new batch, where we will see hundreds of examples. Okay, I will explain you more and more examples in each and every concept, programmatic way, the complete programming way that takes like more number of sessions. Okay, where we look into that each and every concept in detail with the programming. Okay, just we understood now what is the concept and what is the example, what is the concept and example. But the sessions, the paid sessions will be like, we cover more number of programs, and we'll try to focus on each and every student. So the student is comfortable with the programming or not. So until unless he is not comfortable, we are not going to lose him. Okay, so we'll ensure that he will code, he will understand the coding, and okay, so more likely the complete programmatic approach. So everybody should know the programming. Okay, so that's what. So you talk to our team; they will help you out further sessions. So as per the plan, today is the last session, guys. So the planned sessions for up to the flow controls. Okay. If you have any questions, any concerns, always you can reach out to our team. They will help you out. Any programmatical help also, like just send us an email. I will try to respond. I will try to help you out. Right. So that's all, guys. That's all. So it was nice of you guys. So for 2 weeks, yeah, had good time. So we'll hopefully we'll see in the next sessions. Okay, please be in touch with our team. They will help you out all the way. Okay, guys. Any questions? Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Hitesh. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you all, guys. So yeah, you can help us. You can also help us to have more sessions like this. Motivation. You can give us motivation. Okay, so refer to your friends, and yeah, if you like and if you enjoy, refer your friends, and yeah, take it further. Okay, guys. Okay, let's catch you hopefully in the next sessions. Okay, talk to you there. Hello, guys. Enjoy the programming. Enjoy the Python programming. Okay, all the best. Bye bye, guys.